out of bed. Get out now, time's wasted. There's no reward for hesitating.
Hey gang, I just want to point something out. I just realized that time travel's real. Yeah, you see stuff about this all the time about it being, oh, time travel's real, but oh, it's fake and shit like that. But the thing is, anything the mind can conceive, it can achieve, right? So it stands to reason that one of these days we're going to develop time travel. And that means we already have. And the reason is because, you know, time is not linear. It's not a straight line, you know, with a point A going to point B. Right? It's actually a big grid, okay, with all points in time happening simultaneously. Alright, it seems like a straight line to us because, you know, it's like a choose your own adventure game. You start at this point and you can make a decision to go to this point on the grid or this point on the grid, and then that's going to determine, you know, your next decision takes you, and so you're actually bouncing around like this, but it seems like a straight line to you. Besides the fact that we have, you know, things like calendars and clocks that help perpetrate that myth to our mind, where it's going in a straight line. You know, you watch the calendar go in a straight line, and you watch time go in a straight line on a clock, even though it's going around in a circle, still a straight line. You know, but these are man-made constructs to just make life more convenient and easier to keep track of for us. In fact, they're not even foolproof. I mean, that's why we have things like daylight savings time and leap year and stuff like that. It works well, but it's not perfect. And I mean, we already know that time is relative to the position of the observer, you know. For example, we have planets right here in our own solar system where the day is substantially longer than what we have here, and others where the day is, you know, a whole shit ton shorter than it is here. So yeah, anyhow, the fact that time is a grid like that means all points are happening simultaneously. The past, the present, the future, all possible futures is all happening at the same time, right? And so, like, the past isn't gone, you just left it behind, you're moving away from it, you know? You're moving. You're the one moving, not time. You know what I mean? And so, if time travel is created in the future, it already exists, it's happening now. Besides the fact that time travel makes the whole time continuum void because you can go anywhere in time. And people say, well, if time travelers were really coming back in time, why don't we notice any differences? How would you notice? You know, you'd have to be outside the continuum of time to even notice. Like if somebody goes back to the 15th century and makes sure that so-and-so becomes king instead of this person never became king, this person did. That's just how history shows it, how people remember it and things, because it's been changed, you know. But at the same time, time travelers are not going to change things. Right? Because they're not just average people like you and me. It's not like in TV shows and stuff where people go back in time to bet on horse races and shit. Okay, they're specially educated and trained. Just like we don't go to the International Space Station. You know, astronauts have to have extensive training and education to do those missions. They don't let just any average Joe do it. The people that do this stuff know what they're doing. They know the problems that they're in for and the dangers that are involved. Time travelers are the same way. They know what not to do. Okay, I mean, let's say I go back in time like 10 years right here in Portland. You know, just 10 years. I probably have to change the way I dress a little bit so I fit in a little better. But it's still pretty easy to fit in, not like going back to medieval times. So let's say I'm walking down the street, right? Get to a crosswalk and it changes and me and a bunch of people cross the street. Now, since in the original untainted timeline I didn't cross the street there, but this one I did, someone who originally did cross the street in the untainted timeline missed the opportunity because I took their place. So now they're suddenly 10-15 minutes behind schedule getting to where they were going. Seems like a tiny little problem that shouldn't cause any errors, but what if they were going to meet someone or meet up with someone, or they were on their way to an important engagement or appointment that now they don't do? Or what if they were going to meet like the love of their life around the next corner and end up getting married and having kids that are important people? You know, that's going to be changed the course of history. Which it doesn't take a lot to change the course of history. Small changes, as small people do. And so just changing something like that would really seriously taint the timeline. And so yeah, basically what I'm getting at is the fact that time is not linear and that all points in time are happening simultaneously means that time travel already exists. But thankfully what we have is especially highly trained time travelers that are actually using it. So on that note, I'm going to get out of here because I'm running out of time, and take it easy.